Flavor on 947.
Well, every Friday we do something special, and you probably know about it, and we call it My First Hit on 947, brought to you by SAMPRA, where we tell you all the incredible stories behind the breakout hits. Today we catch up with a multi-award-winning singer, rapper, and actor, Sjava, who's hanging out with us in studio. He gives us the lowdown on his first hit, Amini, and much more. So we get to chat with Sjava. To be honest with you, my brother, I've been a fan since the days of you and DJ City Lights gave us Vura. I remember that. I mean, that on its own was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was a time when Ambitious Records had come up, and there was this influx of super talented artists because you were part of a stable that was literally untouchable.
Yes.
Take us back to, what was it, 2016? You had broken onto the scene and you became a household name.
Yeah, it was definitely around 2016. With Ambitious, Nabo City, RP, DJ City Lights. We came together from Jozi. So yeah, those were crazy times. Nabo Aries, Amanda Black, Benchmark, MT the Hustler, Saudi West.
Yeah.
You know, it is
Miss Prue?
Miss Prue, of course, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was an untouchable collaboration, and you guys all teamed up on Amini, and it was one of those songs where I was listening and I was like, okay, this is a good verse. Whoa, this verse is better. Whoa, this guy's better. Yeah. So it was always difficult to pick someone who was your favorite.
Yes.
But just for context, was it Utando that was your first biggest hit, or was it Amini?
I would say it was Amini, because that's the first time people heard me on the song, which was by Miss Prue, and it was a collective where we had all the ambitious artists at the time on the song. So the reason why I chose that song, because that was the first song that I did the hook for, and that was the first song where people got to know me or hear me. So even though it's not my song, but I think that's the song. And then after that, we released Exeni. So before Utando, Exeni was released, and it was also a success. Yeah. But the reason why I chose Amin, because that was the actual first song that I was on, where people got to where it's the song that introduced me to the people. Yeah.
Now, tell me, I mean, you go from being an artist that's making phenomenal music to now being an artist that's recognized everywhere you go. Yeah. And that literally happens overnight.
Yeah.
How did you embrace the change, and how did you take it?
The change is always tough. The change is never nice, because everything changes, from friends, family, relationships. Nothing stays the same. It becomes hectic, but there's always the good and the bad, but we appreciate both, because even the bad contributes in what we become, even in the near future, and the decisions that we make. So I would say it's a blessing more than anything, because another thing, from that recognition, we get to be able to do what we do and be able to provide for our family. So we can't just focus on the bad. But I would say the change has been good.
Yeah. Look, you're an artist who came onto the scene. You were unique. You stood out. And what I loved about your success is that the BET Awards recognized it as well. And it was a big thing. It was Sjava won a BET Award. We were like, what? It was massive at the time. And I remember running into you, and I shook your hand and I said, listen, congrats. And it was the first time we had ever met. And you were just the most humble and the nicest guy I'd ever met. For you, it was like, thank you, my brother, thank you. And I was like, wow.
Thank you so much. I remember those times. Shout out to PT for recognizing, and thank you to everyone that voted for me. Shout out to the label for being part of that whole moment. So it was crazy times. Yeah, it was crazy, I remember.
It's phenomenal time for you, man. We're hanging out with Sjava for My First Hit with SAMPRA. If you got any questions, 066 38 609. We're hanging out with Sjava, chatting all things music, the come up, the releases, the brand new singles, the television before all of that. I mean, he's been around for a while, though. But then became a household name, which just elevated the status. Tell me, you've been doing this for a while now as well.
Yeah.
What's your take on the South African music? Because we've seen a lot more recognition from abroad. And I kind of feel you opened the floodgates.
Yeah.
Because it was your BET award. Now Grammys are a regular thing for us.
Yeah, I would say, I think right now we're doing great, and the reason why we're doing great is it's because the artists that came after realized the importance of being original, of being unique, of being proud of who they are and where they come from. You know, if you listen to Amapiano, if you listen to SA hip hop right now, you know, it's very South African, it's very home. You know, so I think that's one of the reasons why we have people coming from all over the world and they're interested in what we're doing, because it's really original music that comes from home, and the artists take pride in that. So I think that's one of the reasons. And we're just making good music right now as a country. I think in everything that we do, even from sports, all everywhere, I think we're really doing great as a country, as South Africa. So I'd say it's being original more than anything in terms of like the music and why the world is interested and willing to work with us.
Yeah. And the beauty about music, and I mean, I mentioned the fact at the beginning of this interview that Vura was one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
I mean, my Zulu, I understand a bit here or there, but
Yes.
what drives it is your emotion and your delivery of the language.
Yes.
I might not fully understand everything that you're saying, but I feel. If it makes sense, you feel the music, and it almost like makes you feel like you're a part of it, and the rhythm and the melody and you know, the fluctuation of the vocals makes you fall in love with it, which is so authentic to South African music.
Yes, most definitely. And speaking of language, that's another thing, you know, where the more we use our language, it's like the more, even though they can't hear what we are saying, like you're saying, music was made to be felt anyway. So they really feeling it, you know.
Because I mean, think about it. With Miriam Makeba back in the day, Hugh Masekela, it was no different. We loved it because there was something unique and so different about it.
Yes.
And guys like Salif Keita as well from up in Africa.
Yes.
Phenomenal musicians. I don't understand a single word, but the emotion.
Oliver.
Exactly. So yeah, we're definitely on the same page. Look, let's chat about the business and the expansion of the internet. Have you seen a growth in your music since the internet has expanded as big as it has?
Yeah, most definitely. I think it has made things easier. Now I can release a song sitting here. Now I can do a feature with someone I've never even met before. You know, I think it has made things very easy, and it has helped so much with gatekeeping, because now it's really on your hands, literally. You know, phones, people now get to listen to what they want to listen to. You're not forced anymore. You know, so I think for me it has really made things way easier than what they were before. So I'm really happy to be active in these current times.
Yeah. I mean, look, Africa Day, which we celebrate on the 25th of May, holds great importance. As an artist and a champion of African rich diversity and culture, what's the significance of Africa Day to you?
It's very important to celebrate it, even though, like everyone else will say most of the time, we need to celebrate it every day.
Yep.
We need to celebrate being African every day. But it's also important to have a certain day where we're saying, okay, today we're celebrating Africa. You know, I think it's a good thing. You know, I'm also looking forward to it. There's so many activities happening around the continent. So I'm really excited about it. But I think it's a good thing that we have a day like Africa Day where we get to celebrate, because from there we get to see other cultures, we get to learn about other cultures, about other people, about other languages. You know, especially South Africans, we don't get to travel much. You know, I think we're the less traveling people in the continent. You know, so it's very cool to have a day like this, because even on the net, speaking of the net earlier on, because now that's like our TV. So that's where you get to see so many things. We're going to see different dances. We're going to be asking ourselves, what the hell is this?
Yes.
This one is from Ghana. This one is from Capone. This one is from... So I think it's a good thing, yeah.
You know what? It's not even a question that I need to ask, but I think I need to ask. What is next for Sjava?
I would say more art from my side, because that's what I do. That's my calling. That's my gift. That's my responsibility. So I'd say more of that. So people must just look out for that. could be visuals, music, and another major thing that we're about to do right now. We're doing Isbugo tour, which is the second leg. The first leg was a success. Thank you to everyone that came. So we have one in June in Durban, which is already sold out. Thank you to the Durban people who's going to be at Playhouse. And then the second one is on the 12th and 13th of July at Joburg Theatre. So please go get your tickets. Tickets at Joburg Theatre are still available. So we're going to have 2 nights, which is on the 12th and the 13th. So go and get that. So I think that's what's next right now. That is something major that I believe that people would love to be part of.
Indeed. My brother, onwards and upwards. Always a pleasure catching up with you. Thank you for flying the South African flag as high as you have. Thank you for being authentically you.
Thank you so much.
Because, you know, there's so many young individuals who aspire to be musicians, and sometimes we get almost blocked by the fact that we have to sound a certain way to be successful.
Yes.
And you break those boundaries and make us believe that being uniquely yourself is enough to be successful. Yes,
most definitely. Thank you so much. Shout out to SAMPRA. Thank you so much for... They've also made things easier for me in terms of just like collections and all of that. So shout out to SAMPRA.
Indeed, man. So there you have it. That's my first hit with Mo Flava on 947. For more inspiring stories behind the breakouts of my first hit, brought to you by SAMPRA on 947, use the hashtag #KnowYourMusic, hashtag #LoveYourMusic.
Mo Flava on 947.